Hi, my name is Renee and I am still having a difficult time with my mental health. So this is my third mental health vlog that I've made. I just always want to preface this by saying I am not a mental health professional. I am just talking about my own personal experiences with my own personal mental health. And just as a general boundary, if you are not my doctor or my therapist, please do not give me advice about my mental health or about my physical health, just because you don't know the whole picture. This includes recommendations for treatments, medications, therapies, or otherwise. If you're not my doctor or my therapist, please, I just don't want to hear it. And just as a general recap, I struggle with ADHD, depression, anxiety, and past traumas. And recently I pushed myself to the point of burnout and didn't realize it until I was already at that point of burnout. So now I'm just kind of trying to recover, and I have been on a leave of absence from work for the last 2.5 weeks. I also just want to take a second to say I tried to record this yesterday, and I recorded the entire thing, and it was all over the place. So this is me re-recording this update, and what I'm going to start doing is breaking these videos down into sections just so it's a little bit easier for me to understand and for all of you to understand as well. Number one is going to be housekeeping. I'm going to say the general recap and the disclaimers like I just did, and I will talk about anything that I forgot to mention in the previous video, because the way that my brain is, my memory is kind of sometimes, and I already realized that I forgot to mention a couple of things from last week. So that's going to be section 1. Section 2 is going to be what's happened to me this week, which is self-explanatory. And section 3 is going to be my general life and social media updates, just because sometimes I feel like it helps to understand what's going on with me if you understand a little bit of the context, and also because I want to update y'all on what's going on with my social media stuff. So that being said, here's what I forgot to mention last week. So something happened to me last week that it was kind of an indicator that yes, I definitely am doing the right thing by taking a break for my mental health right now, and that is my partner and I were driving, and on this drive, we happened to be on the highway. He was driving, I was in the passenger seat. And at some point, this really, really loud motorcycle came up from behind us really fast, drove around the driver's side, and just zoomed off. And it was just really, really loud. And it was so loud that I not only jumped out of my skin the second I heard it, but right after, even after I already knew what was going on, I already knew what the situation was, I just started crying. And I recognize that as a heightened startled response. And a heightened startled response can be an indication that there is something going on with your brain. A lot of times it can be a symptom of PTSD. I know that. Again, not a mental health expert, but just these are the things that I know about. So I know that that can be a symptom of PTSD. I don't have PTSD, but I know that it can also just be a symptom of trauma or a symptom of various mental health things like anxiety or depression. I don't normally have a heightened startle response. I am actually kind of quite the opposite. Normally what happens is people can't even sneak up on me to save their lives. I'm not saying that I can't be startled whatsoever, and I'm not saying that I can't be surprised. I certainly can. But normally what happens with me, my like baseline is I have had people in the past come up and try to scare me, be it like a haunted house or just a friend coming up behind me and just trying to scare me as a joke. Yeah, it doesn't usually work. I am not easily startled. So if my startle response is so heightened that a loud noise makes me jump and cry, yeah, my mental health isn't doing so good. I don't feel like I have as heightened of a startle response now as I did when that happened. It seemed like it was more a couple of weeks ago, and my mental health has gotten at least a little bit better now that I've been resting and taking a little bit of time on it. But yeah, that was kind of just a really big indicator that it was a good idea for me to take this leave. Because as an appliance tech, I encounter loud noises all of the time. Unexpected loud noises, in fact. So if I couldn't handle something like that, especially knowing that during my day job I am driving a lot, if I had heard that noise while I had been the one driving, I don't know if that would have gone so well. So yeah, that was one of the things that I forgot last week. Something on a more positive note that I did last week as well that I completely forgot to mention, because I'm really bad about that. Even when I do fun things, sometimes I just forget to talk about them. I guess that's not the worst thing, because it means that I'm having fun experiencing the thing and I'm focusing more on experiencing the thing than documenting it, but regardless. So what I forgot to say last week is that my best friend Becky and I actually went to a Vanderbilt mansion. So there is actually a Vanderbilt mansion in Asheville, North Carolina. We didn't go there. But what happened is I went to that mansion, it's called the Biltmore Estate, when I was like 17, 18 years old. And it's basically just literally a giant mansion that was built in the early 1900s for all I know. I don't know all the details. I just know that it's old. And you can just tour the entire mansion. Like, they do tours of the mansion and they preserved a lot of it. So it's like this really interesting look into the past. And although I am not the kind of person to idolize the wealthy, it's at least still fun walking through a piece of history. I'm a museum museum kind of person, so to be able to walk through a house that was actually inhabited and they preserved a lot of the stuff in there was really, really cool. Plus they had an indoor bowling alley, so yeah, really cool. And then what I was trying to do was I just wanted to have a day that was fun and light, and we didn't do a whole lot, but we went out and did something. So what I did was I looked up things to do just in my general area, and I found out that there is another smaller Vanderbilt mansion in Hyde Park, New York. So Becky was also really excited about that and was absolutely on board, and I drove about an hour out to Becky's house, and then we drove from Becky's house about an hour and 45-ish minutes out to Hyde Park, New York, all to visit the Vanderbilt mansion, for which all of the tours for the day were already sold out by the time we got there. Yeah. So that was fun, but I knew that that was a possibility, and I also knew that these particular grounds also had gardens that you can go and you can just tour them for free. You don't have to pay any money. So we went and we looked at the gardens, which were still really awesome. There was this absolutely beautiful statue that Becky and I were both enamored with, and the flowers were beautiful. It was just absolutely the right time of year to do it. It was a little bit hot, but it was still fun. And then there were amazing views. There were also some goats, and as we were petting the goats, there was somebody who worked on the grounds who came running over to us to tell us not to pet the goats. So we're all, okay, whatever, don't pet the goats. Yeah, we didn't pet the goats. No, not us. This ranger definitely knew, like definitely saw Becky pet one of the goats. And the ranger just seems like the kind of person that's very non-confrontational. So they were just like, okay, if you did pet the goats, just, you know, you should make sure you go wash your hands. If you just don't pet the goats. Okay, and then just kind of left. And then we read the rest of the sign that said, don't pet the goats because they had been eating poison ivy. So that was fun. Luckily, I did not touch the goats. Becky did touch the goats, but I don't think she touched their face area, and neither one of us got poison ivy that day. 10 out of 10. I feel really bad for that ranger though, because they definitely saw it. And then after we were done doing all of that, the plan was to go grab lunch, and we found this itty bitty little mom and pop Mexican restaurant. It's like El Rey Mexican Eatery, I believe is the name. And it was the best Mexican food I have ever had in my life. And Becky said the same. And Becky is from Texas. So yeah, if you're ever in Hyde Park, New York, try out El Rey Mexican Eatery. This is not an ad. This is not sponsored. It just genuinely was the best Mexican food I have ever had. It was so good. And then the day after that, even though it was a really, really fun day, it was a lighthearted day, it wasn't anything that was too crazy or too heavy, my social battery was just, it was gone. So it just kind of gave me an idea of where my threshold is at. I just have not wanted to be around people whatsoever aside from my partner, who lives with me. I call him my comfort human for a reason. And Becky is also one of my comfort humans, but it's different when Becky and I are just hanging out one-on-one versus going all the way out to Hyde Park, New York. And she also lives an hour away from me, so it's a little bit more than just, oh, this is my comfort human. Yes, I am completely comfortable around her at all times, but sometimes it just takes a little bit more of my social battery to actually drive all the way out there and back, so it is what it is. Which brings us to this week. This past week, I have definitely been feeling a lot better. I'm looking into some of my medications because I get the feeling that something might be causing my akathisia symptoms. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch last week's mental health vlog. But yeah, I have been looking into that a little bit, and I have actually been feeling a little bit better in terms of that akathisia feeling. Still not doing super great. It's still very challenging for me to be social. In these videos, I really have not been wearing makeup or doing anything fancy. The hair today, literally, like I showered today and then I did a blow dry brush. So that's all that is. Oh, I shaved the sides too though. So I reshaved the sides. Makeup wise right now though, I haven't really felt like doing makeup recently just because I want to wear makeup. I like the way that it looks. I enjoy doing makeup in general, but the faces that I normally wind up doing, like my full face of makeup, that can take me like 2 to 3 hours, and I really have not had the energy to do that. Every time I would sit down to think about doing my makeup and think about how long it was going to take me, it would just make me anxious. So even though I wanted the end result, the road getting to there was not really helping my brain. So what I wound up doing, and the reason why I'm wearing makeup at the moment, is I actually wound up buying some makeup that I knew was going to make it a little bit easier for me to put on makeup, and it's just going to make it a little bit faster. So it's just lighter makeup, it's faster to put on, and it's easier to use and look good without taking a whole lot of time and effort. And I'm just gonna put a text block on the screen here showing all of the different products that I used on my face. Again, none of this is sponsored. I just really don't feel like going through the whole spiel that I had already recorded that just wound up being really awkward. So these are all the products that I used on my face. And moving on. But yeah, some days I feel like I can put a little bit of makeup on, other days not so much. I've been having good days, I've been having bad days. And I've just been trying to remind myself that healing isn't linear, especially healing with mental health. But yeah, I have not been leaving the house very much at all. Aside from like to get groceries here and there, but I generally do grocery pickups just because being around other people is challenging at the moment. My partner and I did go over to Becky's house on Saturday, so we got to have a fire pit and just enjoy nature and enjoy each other's company and just chill. Got to look up at the stars because she lives up in a more mountainous area than I do, and it was just nice, relaxing hangouts, which is exactly what I needed. I also definitely have not been drinking enough water, so I know I always tell y'all to hydrate when I'm on lives. Just hydrate right now. Just take a second, just pause the video and go drink a bottle of water. But yeah, being hydrated definitely makes a difference with my mental health. I didn't add this in on purpose. That was literally just something that I realized that I had not been doing enough of. So you should do it too. But yeah, going up to Becky's house definitely helped my mental health a little bit. Drinking water has been helping my mental health, that's for sure. I can certainly notice a difference on the days when I am not drinking enough versus the days that I am. So I'm trying to pay attention to that a little bit more. And I have still been coloring. So this is one of my most recent coloring projects. It's from a coloring book called Creepy Kawaii. Again, not sponsored, not an ad. And then I started on another one, and it's like a little goat in a little mug, right? But I had to stop because first I noticed that it's got fingies. Goats don't have fingies. And then I noticed that the eyes were wrong. So the eyes are wrong and it has fingies, and I didn't love that. And that just started distracting me, and then it started looking worse to me, so I just kind of stopped on that one. Also doesn't help that a little bit later on in this book, there's another picture of a goat with hooves, no fingies. And it also has the correct eyes. Considering this goat is in here and has the correct anatomy, even though, yes, I know, it is just an adorable little cute drawing of a goat, and goats also don't normally have wings or a candle on their forehead. This is just the way my brain works. So I have abandoned this one, probably in favor of that one. But yeah, coloring has helped my mental health as well. But that also brings me to my final section about life and social media updates. So first of all, in the past week, I posted a video doing an unboxing from my P.O. box. In that video, somebody had sent me coffee. For those of you who don't know what's going on with the coffee thing, I had posted a video a few months back just kind of making a joke about the coffee that I had in my mug, because I had a mug full of coffee while I was talking, and it was kind of like moving around, and people were worried it was going to spill, and it didn't, but I did have a few people that were asking me what kind of coffee I had. So in the next video, I kind of addressed that, and I said it's cheap Aldi brand coffee, and if you have a problem with that, my P.O. box is in my bio. And I just said it as a passing comment, like a joke. I have since learned that the way that social media works, if you say, hey, here's my P.O. box, and you direct people to it, and you have a specific thing, that they will not stop sending you that specific thing for months, even if you tell them not to. But here's the problem, because my mental health has been kind of all over the place, I have been paying a little bit more attention to my caffeine intake. So while yes, I do still drink coffee, I'm not drinking as much as I used to, and I have a good stockpile of coffee. So for all of you who are planning on sending me coffee, what I would like to do is offer an alternative, one that actually would help my mental health. So this is an Amazon wish list that I created recently. It is specifically full of stuff that I have been using to help my mental health. So there are a few different coloring books in there that I've been looking at. There are some markers in the brand that I use, but in some colors that I might not have. There's snacks that I like. There's stim toys, basically all sorts of things to actually help with my mental health. Now, I am not telling people to send me things on this wish list. All I am saying is that if you were already planning on sending me something anyway, this is the stuff that's actually going to help with my brain the way that it is at the moment. Just an idea. And if ever at any point you are planning on sending me something, I just want to say thank you so much, because I am very aware of the fact that I am effectively an internet stranger, and a lot of y'all are spending money on me, and that's still a very strange thing that I don't think I'm ever going to get used to, but regardless, I just wanted to say thank you. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is I noticed that over the last couple of weeks, I have seen a few other creators who are also making mental health vlogs vlogs. So I just wanted to address this for a second because I already get the feeling that there are going to be people out there who are going to say that one of us is copying the other. Nobody is copying anybody. The world is burning right now and everybody's mental health is terrible. There just happen to be a few people who are documenting it at the same time. So I just wanted to say that just to address that and get that out of the way. And finally, I have a very belated announcement because the way that my mental health is, I have this problem where I might have really big exciting news and I tell all of the people in my personal life and then I forget to tell you. And then by the time I remember to tell you, it's already been way too much time. Some of y'all may remember that I was in the spring 2023 issue of Bust magazine. Bust is a feminism and lifestyle magazine. It is really, really great. I would strongly suggest that you check it out. This is the issue that I'm in. And yes, that is Tessa Thompson on the cover. I am so stoked about that. See, there I am. Oh, and fun fact, my mom took that picture of me and that's me on my washing machine. But ever since I did this issue of Bust, everybody at Bust has been really, really awesome. And recently they reached out and asked me if I wanted to do a small recurring column in their magazine. So yes, I am officially a Bust magazine columnist. It's just a small little thing, but I am going to be regularly in that magazine now, and I've already submitted my first article and gotten it approved. That's going to be, I believe, in the fall issue, and I am already working on the next one. So yeah, exciting, a little bit stressful, nothing too wild, but yeah, I am now a Bust columnist. And that is my mental health update for this week. And once again, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, they still don't have a name, so leave your suggestions in the comments. Okay, thanks, I love you, bye.